Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, the host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. I hope everybody's doing well. I want you to pardon the lighting, brothers and sisters. I'm not at my normal location. I am on location for ShOUT Curious, the series I'm working with ShOUT Foundation of America. So I ask you to bear with me on that as I try to work out some things with light. Other than that, brothers and sisters, I hope you're having a great day. A lot of times, a great day is really about positive mind, positive frame of mind. Today, I thought, for lack of a better word, I thought today we talk about, on the Potluck, I thought we talk about maybe an issue we haven't touched on, which is vaccines. How do you guys feel about the vaccines? I'm clearly torn. Not so much about the vaccines, but the people who are producing the vaccines have me worried. Not to pile on Donald Trump and not to pile on his administration, but they haven't done a lot to, for lack of a better word, increase my confidence with vaccines. And as we move forward, vaccines are being put out there, if you will, as the thing that's supposed to bring the economy back. Hopefully that people don't get as sick and we'll be able to recover and develop some kind of, I don't want to say herd immunity, but more of an immunity towards COVID while we learn more about it. Before I get into it, though, brothers and sisters, I do want to give a shout out to people who come in for the show for the first time. Now, if you come on the show first time, simple rules. Very, very simple rules. Number one, I want to say thank you. For number two, when you come on the show, if you don't mind, please click the subscribe button or notify button. If you like the show, click the like button. We like that too. The other things are just housekeeping. When you come on a show like the Shout Out Show, I'm the host, but the stars are always in the building. I'm not the star. The people who are in the comment section that come here on the regular, those are the ones who make the show go, and I will be introducing them momentarily. But because you're on the show, I want everyone to know, if it's your first time, you are officially part of the SOS, the Shout Out Show family. We thank you for coming. And if you have anything that you'd like to share, something you want to get off your chest, some ideas, some nuggets of wisdom, please don't refrain yourself. Get in the chat box and let us know how it's going. All right. So I actually want to, before I tell people where I am, I'm actually in the city of Chicago. I've been graciously hosted by Ustad Ubaid Evans. I always call him Ubaid a lot, but Ubaid Evans, who's invited me in to shoot an interview, the first interview for ShOUT Curious. So I'm really, really interested about that. And inshallah, we'll have him on the show as well. Let me go through my stars in the building. We got Sister Ree. Always. Thank you so much. Yes, Sister Ree, stay warm. You see, I got the ask up, brothers and sisters, so I'm not playing around. I'm going ShOUT Curious all day long. That's Sister Ree, and I hope you're feeling better too. I've been making dua for your auntie, and I hope that situation resolves itself so the next time you go up to Michigan, you're able to spend some quality time with her. May Allah give her and grant her shifa and increase her health. Sister Sultana is our consultant producer. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Sultana, we thank you so much for everything you do. Things I mention, things I don't mention, which is an interesting part when you don't have to mention something. People who help keep you on a particular path, a particular trajectory, you always got to thank them. And the show is not the show without all of you, but definitely Sister Sultana, who keeps me on my toes. Sister Ika coming all the way from Indonesia. Good to hear and good to see that you're feeling better. I know you were under the weather. We have a lot of things going on with our health. So please, if you feel like something's going on with your health and you don't feel normal, you don't feel regular, don't leave it to chance. We're not doctors, okay? We're not physicians. Don't try and self-diagnose. Go see somebody and make sure that you're okay. Brother Altaf, all the way from Toronto. Brother Altaf, we appreciate you, man. And thank you so much. You come from all the way from Toronto. Like I said, you don't need immigration. You don't need a passport. If there was a passport, I would stamp it with the logo of the SOS, the Shout Out Show, brother. If you got 30 of them, we'll give you a t-shirt or something. But we appreciate your participation. As well, people that signed up for the CD, I will be doing that this week. Forgive me, we had a number of things that arose, and I just want to make sure that I want to let everybody know I have not forgotten. There you got Sister Reed. There you go. Oh, here's my Aunt Maxine. God bless her. Still laughing about me that mustard on that chicken from that Thai restaurant. Every time I think about that Thai restaurant, I just get hot, unexplainably hot. But today, brothers and sisters, we're going to be talking about, it's a potluck. One of my topics, and I started, was about vaccines. Now, I haven't taken a vaccine in a very, very, very long time. I don't know about you. I thought vaccines were for kids. I don't take flu shots because the last time I took a flu shot, guess what happened? I got the flu. So I'm a little sketchy, but I'm looking at the people who are telling me to take flu shots. I'm looking at the people who are telling me that it's okay, and I am a little worried because I'm like, y'all don't look healthy. Everyone who gets sick tells you don't do something to protect yourself in terms of your own health. I'm a little sketchy. And the other part of it is, and we've said this before in the show, it is a recurring theme in the African American community that the issue of the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, continues to dog a lot of us, and so us included, myself included. While I can understand that at that point in time, people felt that they could do that, there's never really been a formal apology. There's never been a formal investigation. That's an experiment that went for 4 years, left syphilis unchecked amongst population of men in Tuskegee, Alabama, and they left. Didn't allow them to get treatment. I'm just saying, this is a discourse that needs to be had and haven't been had yet. But I think of all the other things too. When I think of people getting sick and things like that, I've been thinking about home remedies. I'm thinking at some point in time, there's probably a home remedy that could work and get rid of COVID. I was thinking like castor oil and prune juice. That was just for my mom. Castor oil and prune juice will probably likely take care of COVID. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking of some home? I remember I tell this to Sister Turner's trying flu shots take effect the next flu shot. Wonder if it's the same for COVID. But yeah, you know what, Satana, and many of you can chime in anywhere. It's cyclical. It's very cyclical. Reed's talking about that ginger I gave you. Yes, I have used ginger for a number of occasions. Stomach aches. I mean, I'm not afraid to tell you, when I get a really, really bad stomach ache, you know what I do? I do baking soda and warm water. You put the baking soda in warm water, stir it up with a spoon, whatever you got, and drink it, and it seems to do wonders. Has anybody forgotten the wonders of baking soda? All the things you could do with baking soda? It was good for your stomach. It was good for your teeth. Remember how people had bright white teeth? And it wasn't Crest. It wasn't Colgate. It was people who would take that toothbrush and put some peroxide and put some baking soda and brush their teeth. And I know I'm not the only one. But there are sometimes I do. Like I said, I worry about these home remedies. I worry my grandfather, I told you guys the story. My grandfather, when I had a very nagging cough when I was young, my grandfather tried to give me, wait for it, he tried to give me turpentine and sugar. Turpentine and sugar. Now, keep in mind, I'm a young kid right now. I'm 7, 8 years old. I know I can't talk back to my grandfather. Thus, I was trying to give him strongly worded clues that I didn't think this was a good idea. Yeah. I was coughing around him, and he was like, "You need to do something about that cough." Now, I didn't know he meant then, but I remember he took me out to the tool shed. Now, here's a clue. He said, "We're gonna take care of that cough." We went past the bathroom to the tool shed. Now, I don't know of anybody that keeps their aspirin or their Tums or their prescription medicines in the tool shed, brothers and sisters, but he took me there. He had a bag of sugar, a spoon. I don't know how long the spoon had been in there or the sugar. All I know was he rushed, he wiped some ants off the sugar, and I'm like, oh, this man trying to kill me. And he put turpentine on it. And I remember trying to be smart but respectful. Smart but respectful. And I remember telling my granddad, hey, granddaddy, that turpentine. He said, isn't that stuff we use to take the paint off the shed? And he said, yeah. I said, but it said it's poison. It'll kill you. My grandfather, without a beat, goes, oh, boy, it only kill you a little bit. It'll only kill you a little bit. Now, let me tell y'all something about those home remedies. Those home remedies had a lot to do with the fact that Black people didn't have access to meaningful health care. Let me say it again. You didn't have access to meaningful health care, which means that we were left with coming up with concoctions and ideologies on medicine that had a lot to do with what? What we learned coming out of slave culture. What we learned coming out of slave culture. What we learned from medicines from back home. You know, contrary to popular belief, America is not the leading authority on medicine. A leading authority on medicine comes from Africa. In fact, some of the vaccines that you are seeing being touted around by Pfizer and folks like that came from, guess what? Africa. Let me throw this up here. It is an essential oil, but external. Yeah, it is. It is. But I'm here to tell you, I took that turpentine as I get back to myself. I took that turpentine, brothers and sisters, and I never coughed again. You know why? I stayed up all night because I thought I was going to die. And then the interesting part about it is, I don't think I ever coughed around my granddad the rest of my life. I mean, when he passed away, I remember looking in the coffin, making sure he had gone, and I was like, I've been holding that for about 16 years. Altaf, tell me about date syrup. Because you know what's happening in the United States, man? We're not really leaning on holistic medicine. You know, that's the thing. We haven't been leaning on holistic medicine. Sister Sultana pointed out Ebola. Ironically, the stuff that they're using, that Remstiffer, the stuff they gave Trump when he went to Walter Reed, ironically, that was supposed to be the vaccination for Ebola. That was supposed to be used against Ebola. So it's a failed Ebola vaccination that's been sitting in the pipeline, and now they've used it for COVID. Now, here's my thing about vaccinations. I'm a big fan about proper trials. Like, you must have a proper trial before you give anybody any kind of medication. You know, I feel like they are rushing the process a little bit because people are desperate for any kind of good news. Any kind of good news. So let's move off of that. This is speeding towards January. We're already about halfway through December. January 6th will be an important day because it'll be the last ditch effort for President Trump to somehow not delay, but derail the election results. And let me tell you what I'm saying. He's going to lean on Mike Pence to forsake everything in constitutional privilege, law, a constitutional meaning, to hold him in power. Now, why is this important? Because January 6th is very close to January 20th. Brothers and sisters, we have a problem. We have a problem. And that problem is we have a lack of backbone. Not a lack of backbone from the politicians, we already know, but from the American people, right-minded individuals moral people, ethical people. Law-abiding citizens are now law-watching citizens, law-overlooking citizens. We have to get back to a point at some point in time. It's like we're going to tell the truth, whoever it is, or whoever says it. We got to tell the truth. I don't believe in good conscience that you have a situation, you have a scenario whereby folks are really, really, really going to address and even accept what a Biden presidency looks like. Let me say it again. They're not necessarily going to address and accept what a Biden presidency looks like because it's been a very, I want to say, very careful, deliberate, and strategic move away from facts, away from people who provide information, truthful or truthful or elsewise. And that's interesting. You either tell it, man, well, I grew up, there's a truth and whatever you want to give me. But people have moved away from truth. And I've called this, ladies and gentlemen, it is the deconstructive of truthful life and meaning. The deconstruction of truthful life and meaning. I don't think it'll stop with Biden. Here's two reasons why. Number one, Biden is part of that process. He's a deep part of that process. So for what he needs to do and achieve, he's going to have to go deep into that process. He's going to interact with these folks who, for lack of a better word, are the jamming of the machine. You see what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, and this sounds really bad, Biden's old. Biden's old. What I mean by old is I'm not sure he's in a space where he can make that pivot ideologically, spiritually, emotionally, morally, and even physically. One of the things that's happened is I see a guy spending a lot of energy on things, if you will, that he shouldn't have to spend energy on. He spent a lot of time on things that should have been resolved. And the stall, for lack of a better word, is working. The stall will make him a weakened president. When he takes his oath and goes to the inauguration, he's going to be a weakened president. He's already weakened. And here's what's making it weak. I won't say liberals. I won't say moderates. It's the fact that politics requires a certain amount of nuance, but also a certain amount of denial, plausible denial. Now, no politician wants to talk about this because nobody wants to look bad. But the truest of politicians are willing in a public space to be vulnerable and look bad. Think about this. When's the last time you saw a politician of any merit actually vulnerable, saying, I made a mistake, saying, I could have done this better? Wait for it. Wait for it. My point. You now have a situation where the presidency has to, for lack of a better word, mask and, in many regards, replicate the feelings of the people, replicate the mood of the street. And here's one thing that says, that sums it up. My good friend Harry Weber said this about people. He said, he said about black people. He said in America, black people are great at making moves, horrible at making decisions. He said, we're great at making moves, horrible at making decisions. What are moves? Moves are emotional. Moves are not particularly transformational, they're transactional. That's what moves are. Moves are temporary. They lack a little bit of a long-term strategy, a long-term effect, a long tail, if you will. But decisions require something different. Decisions require some type of consensus, a discussion, a debate, and a direction. I'm looking at this thing right now, and I'm not a politician. No, I've been around politicians, but this is a different vibe. Because the politics of the day are being driven by, I want to say, unequal forces. You now have people who wish bad things on other people. You now have people who line up They line up activity, legislation meant to hamper other people, meant to debilitate other people, meant to hold back other people. And not only that, they're able to get it to spaces where they can vote on it. Groups like QAnon, groups like the Proud Boys, I'm here to tell you, they're small groups, brothers and sisters. They're offsprings. They are babies. They are seedlings. They are newborns in the larger aspect of political activity. My brother JT is on here. My brother was a county executive, should have been comptroller, the first black comptroller of Milwaukee. But Milwaukee, in and of itself, lacks a certain amount of integrity. It lacks a certain amount of honesty of itself. You see, even now, think about this. Even now, they say almost 50% of the black population in Milwaukee is below the poverty line. Somehow, though, we expect for people to treat the black vote in Milwaukee with a certain amount of pride and fairness. But pride and fairness are not what elections are about. They're about power, they're about position. And even though Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are president and vice president respectfully, nobody's going to say, including them, that they came to power through the same politics that Donald Trump came to power. The presidency is not so much about serving the people. Now, I hope that it will get back to that. And in my heart of hearts, I think Joe Biden is a decent guy. But here's the problem. The people around him are not decent people. The people around him do not share the same perspective, brothers and sisters. They don't see fairness the way we see fairness. Today, I'm at Easted Abela Evans' house. Our topic is going to be about zakat, or charitable giving, generosity. Now, that's the Islamic piece. It's the fourth pillar of Islam, zakat. But what was interesting when I was doing my research for this thing, zakat or charitable giving, check this out, is not to be a situation where there are those who are poor treat this as a normal situation that people always give you zakat, and the rich will not treat it as a situation where they're always going to be, there's a middle ground that has to happen. The rich can't always stay rich and the poor can't always stay poor. But beyond that, let me add this in. There's a duty, a fiduciary duty, brothers and sisters, of government to make sure that wealth is distributed in a way where you don't have the poorest of the poorest and the richest of the richest. We deal with that right now, right here, right now. It's not about rich and poor. The language is stimulus, a stimulus check. Do you know how degrading it is to talk about a stimulus check? Hear me, a stimulus check. Meaning that people really believe that that $1,200 or that $2,400 over the period of possibly being unemployed, I'm talking meaningfully employed, over 12 months is really going to do the trick. And at the same time, money is not being invested in the small businesses. Money is not being invested in the people who drive the economic machine when, guess what? The government doesn't do their job. And so it's no surprise when you find out that Trump and his associates pocketed a lot of money for PPP. Football players, Tom Brady, his company got $900,000. But on the flip side, talk about PPP. 91% of black businesses didn't get PPP. 95% of Latino businesses didn't receive PPP. Think about that. Because the statistic that goes beyond that is the one that's facing us right now. The fact that it's labeled, brothers and sisters, they are forecasting that 40% of African American entrepreneurship will not return. And these are businesses that drive employment, they drive services, they drive manufacturing in parts of our community that haven't had it in years. In bits and places where, guess what? The government quit. And we have to get back to the point of understanding that that money is not going to come back. The cavalry is not coming. And we still have to sit here with all the other stuff. A man can come up with a campaign that they started in 2016 called Stop the Steal, which literally has nothing to do with voting. It has to do with being able to pocket money that he can use directly for his own benefit. I was talking to my brother earlier today, JT. I said I'd be really surprised if Donald Trump stayed here in the country because he has the look of a person that wants to flee. Let me say it again. He has the look of a person that wants to flee. And that person that wants to flee is willingly engaging the most asinine arguments about an election that he knows he lost. He knows he didn't come close. But he plays the American public, the American conscience, to believe that somehow, someplace, he was done wrong. Well, I'm going to tell you something, folks. Give y'all a little street knowledge. The biggest fear of the thief is that someone will steal from him. The biggest fear of the bully is that someone will bully him. The biggest fear of the killer is someone will kill him. And so the biggest fear of Donald Trump is that somebody will do it to him. Now, I don't want to take up too much time. As I said, I'm on location today. Looking forward to doing this thing. And again, big shout outs to Brother Beta Evans and his family for allowing us to come in and shoot during this time of COVID. So we thank him. But I want to encourage everybody to please, look at the little machinations of your life that make you happy, that make you whole, that make you complete. Whereby when the world comes around and the world's not fair and the world's not just, you are insulated, understanding that, yes, you are in the world, but you're not of it. And life is short. I want to give a shout out to my brother down in Houston, Sharif El-Amin, who passed away, returned to Allah. I saw him 2 weeks ago. I'm going to show you how life is. I saw him 2 weeks ago. And we had a comedy club. And I asked him how he was doing. He said, I'm doing good. He said, my stomach's been giving me some problems. I said, you need to just go see somebody. And some food came out. And he was like, you don't want any? He was offering me some food. I said, no, I don't want all that fried stuff. Not even 2 weeks later, Brother Sharif complained about stomach problems. He was having all kinds of regularity and discomfort. Then they found him dead. My point in saying this is, nothing is guaranteed. And the moment we realize that it's not guaranteed, we're a better community. We're better fathers. We're better mothers. We're better sons. We're better daughters. We're better aunts and uncles. Better grandparents. Understanding that none of this is guaranteed. The thing about a vaccine, brothers and sisters, that scares me is that they made us wait. They made us wait. This stuff that they're coming up with, a lot of that stuff has been around for a while. It just waited to get approved. And I'm not a guy to say, hey, just run anything, just give people vaccines. You know what? You got to track it. And you got to do, high accountability on these type of things because we don't even know what the side effects are. But in our psyche, for lack of a better word, people are excited because at least it's something. And we are metaphorically and strategically settling. Well, I'm going to say this about my brother Sharif. He lived his life. And when he has his janazah, we're going to make sure that we honor his wishes. When we burn those Muslims, we're going to do that. What I loved about him is he didn't waste his time and he didn't take things for granted. And he lived his life in a certain way that was admirable because he took no shortcuts. And let that be a lesson to all of us, particularly me, that we can't take shortcuts. We are in the culture of shortcuts. Nobody wants to work hard. People don't want to engage. They want to be entitled. They want, but they don't want to work. I want what I want, but I don't want to work. So I would lean on all of us to pray for one another, to reach out to our parents, to reach out to our brothers and sisters. Because, when you don't reach out, we assume. And I call that shortcutting. If you love them, call them. Put in the extra work. The conversation is long, let it go a little bit longer. You know, and for my grandfather back in the day, that gave me turpentine and sugar, I love the man for it. You know why? Because in his heart of hearts, he felt like he was helping me. That's all I got for you today, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope that you get off to an excellent Monday. We'll be back on Mo Better Mondays, and I have some things I want to talk about on Mo Better Mondays. I hope you guys don't mind. They're going to be a little off topic, a little off, not off color, but just some things I have going on that I'm seeing. So Mo Better Mondays are going to be based upon things I'm seeing that seem kind of strange, and I want all of you to tune in if you see some things that are strange. You hear that if you see something, say something. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that too. All right, everybody, you've been great. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Preacher Moss, SOS, the ShOUT Show. Hey, everybody, this is your brother, Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your ShOUT Show experience. We'll be